Okay, family, how y'all doing? This is Cassandra-Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know I'm actually I'm a minute late now, but we're going to go ahead and do it. Okay, I can't find my little shaker. We are the breakers of curses, the casters of glorious conspiracies, and the creators of the new world. I, Cassandra-Floyd, am a divine instrument of my mother's divine will. As such, I am protected and guided by the sacred blood and water of my mother, Jacqueline Jeanette Cook's body, that anointed my entry into this life. I am divine because she is divine. Mommy and I are one. I call all of our mothers to this moment. I call on they who govern everything, all time and every space in between. She with 10,000 names, today it is Oya, Yemaya, Oshun, Iyami Ajay, the divine architects of existence, usheresses of the new age. Mommy and I are one. I call upon all the divine ancestors in the ashe of every mother on earth today to break every curse and ever cast upon the mother and her children in all timelines and in every dimension. Mommy and I are one. We, the mother's divine children, conspire together today to forever bind those who have or would harm you, great mother. Mommy and I are one. We conspire together today. Oh, shoot, my bad. Today, let's see. Yes, we conspire together today to destroy everything and everyone in every timeline and dimension that has caused suffering and despair. Mommy and I are one. Today, we embody the sacred and divine power of our mothers. Today, we the tree, we the weavers rewrite all time. Today, we the tree, we the weavers rewrite the book of life. Today, we our mother's children call the winds of change. We conjure the primordial dark. We summon the sacred serpent deep from within the earth. We subdue the rogue sun. We control the light. We heal the harmed. We embolden the fearful. We instill courageous action. Today, we are staging a global evolution as is our mother's divine will. Mommy and I are one. We are the architects of the new age. Now we, the architects of the new age, now create the new institutions, the new traditions, the new culture, the new ways of being. We ecstatically welcome the radical destruction of all institutions of harm and hate erected by the godheads of war. Mommy and I are one. We have the power. We have the voice. We are the portals of change. Now we employ our sacred breath and we give life and sacred blood to this conspiracy. Mommy and I are one. We command, come the wind, come the storm, come the lightning, capture and judge all godheads of war and all betrayers of the mother's divine will. Bring their confusion and war to an immediate end. Scatter them to oblivion, never to be resurrected. We the fates, we are the fates. We are the furies. We are the Iyami Ajay. We are the disseminators of divine time, divine retribution, divine rectification, and evolutionary justice. We are the restorers of heaven on earth under the mother's divine reign. We wake the sacred serpent deep from her sleep to assist us in this sacred assignment. Love unlimited is our birthright. Harmony is our birthright. Ecstasy is our birthright. Pleasure is our birthright. Freedom is our birthright. This is her divine will, and we are the divine executors of her will. We speak her will into the now to reverberate throughout all time, all space, and all dimensions. It is certainly, as we say, forever and ever. Mommy and I are one. Mommy and I are one. Mommy and I are one. Greetings, family. I hope everybody is well and navigating this new norm. Greetings, everybody on the live and in the comments section. Vayoni and Jamisha, Phoenix Rising, FG Apothecary, Save Our Trees, Crypto Rico, Phoenix Rising, Claudia Ankra, T, Shanta J, Alicia Morris. Let's see, I got Shanta J over here on the IG too. So just greetings, family. Greetings. I'm not going to stay on here too terribly long. It is a commitment I must make to myself because I'm still in a mad dash to raise the rest of my rent before these people start trying to take legal action upon my ass. So it's real life out here. Even as we change in the world, baby, it's real life out here. You feel me? So anyway, there's a lot that I want to discuss with you, but we're going to do a little housekeeping. And I also want to big up everybody who has, heeded the call. There have been several of you that have booked readings in response to this urgent position that I'm in right now with my rent. And so there have been several people who have booked readings, who have booked wellness consultations, who've just straight made donations, which I really appreciate that. And so I appreciate you all. I have until Wednesday. So just so you know, if you do book a reading or a consultation, I will not be facilitating those appointments until after Thursday, because I have until Wednesday to rectify this situation. You feel me? So I'm going to be mad dashing, mad hustling to get that done. So everybody that has reached out to get a reading or a consultation knows that I won't be doing those consultations or readings until starting Thursday morning. Even though it's been, and this is like, I feel like this is kind of like the uncomfortable space. I've been here before. This uncomfortable space between a declaration and an execution. And what I mean is I have been threatening for probably almost 2 years now to make this transition from having to put my hands on people to as my primary source of income. Do you understand? Thank you so much, Constance Woo Woo. She's reminding everybody to make sure you like the live to increase the algorithm. Thank you so much for that, sis. Coffee Cakes, Leslie Y, and Constant Woo Woo up on the live. So the reason I'm saying that is because I've been threatening for some time, and not only threatening, trying to figure out how to make this transition from my hands having to touch human beings to my mind being able to make the resources to sustain my life that I need that to do. And the reason I'm saying this is because today is going to be the first day in some time. It's going to be the first day in about 2 months, 2.5 months, that I am going to have to go and put my hands on somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's good, but that's what I feel like is happening. Is like this this uncomfortable, kind of unsteady transition from really concretizing this way that my brain can do for me what I've had to rely on my body to do. And I'm going to tell you, because many of you are new, I will tell you the reason I'm doing this. I have been threatening this is because I was working for this company, kind of like that was the primary way that I was making money, and the money was fine, but I could feel every day, and I was complaining for a long time. So a lot of you who've been up on here for a long time know I was working for this company doing out call sessions with people, right? So it's like Uber drives for manual therapy. So I was setting up I was going to people's houses, setting up my table and putting my hands on them and going about my life. Now, the reason that was, and even that was a transition. That was a transitional thing. I was like, okay, I'm only going to do this shit for a half a second. You feel me? While I get my bearings straight. And baby, let me tell you something. Okay. I was complaining about it every day. It's like we actually get told pretty regularly that as long as we, quote, are making the money that we need to make, that what's the line? The line is like, as long as you're making the money that you need to make, you feel me? There are just certain things you have to put up with. And I'm gonna tell you, doing this job in California, doing this job in Los Angeles, baby, I did that for almost 2 years. I did out call therapy for almost 2 years. And I'll be honest, it changed radically when October 7th happened. When October 7th happened, baby, and these quiet Jews, you feel me? These Jews who be really quiet about their true self and their true nature and their true alignments. When I tell you that Jewish nationalism seeped into every single solitary aspect of life in this bitch after October 7th, that I'm telling you, just 2 weeks after October 7th, 2 weeks later, the very first client that I had, as a matter of fact, it was 2 weeks after October 7th that I'd started doing this gig. The very first client that I had, child, 2 weeks after October 7th. I will never forget it. The very first client that I had was this guy whose wealth was obnoxious. Like, I drove to this guy's house. I was stupefied by the wealth. Okay. This guy was a musician, and we, he had booked a 2-hour session, and the whole session was cool, peaceful. He's playing all the dope jams. I was like, I haven't even heard that, and I feel like I know everything about John Coltrane. He was like, yeah, I met John Coltrane. Like, he knew everybody in the industry, all the mute, like everything he played was off the chain. It was dope. It was a cool, completely uneventful session. As I'm breaking down the table to pack my things up to get ready to go, and he's squaring with me, he says, you seem like a really nice lady. I was like, thank you. Now, mind you, we still in mask. I got my mask on, fortunately, because y'all know me by now. I can't hide a resting bitch face. You feel me? Like, I don't perform well. You feel me? So fortunately, I had on a mask. I'm packing up my stuff, and this man says to me, it's real unfortunate what's happening these days. And baby, when I tell you, in my spirit, I already knew bullshit was coming down the pike. I said, oh, here we go. 2 hours, uneventful. And as I'm packing up, he says, because after October 7th, there was a lot happening in the city. It was sharp out here, probably sharper than anybody else has experienced it, because the Jewish population is so extraordinarily dense here. You feel me? And so all of a sudden, everybody in their feelings, because they was like, damn, this person's been my friend for 30 years. And it's not until now that I found out that they an outright Zionist. It's because you didn't ask. First of all, you didn't ask. There were things you tiptoed around. You didn't ask. But now October 7th is forcing you to ask, because they have become so nationalistic overnight. You feel me? There were so many people crying crocodile tears, complaining because their best Jewish friend that they never knew was a Zionist is now all of a sudden making big ass, bold ass declarations. You heard? And so it was showing up most sharply in these relationships in LA that are among and between Jewish people who on every other day of the week are liberals, are progressives. That's what I was telling y'all day before yesterday. Progressivism, liberalism, child, has been a weapon. And so all of these progressive, Marxist, socialist Jews has been around supporting Black people in the Black community. Jews, all of these, I was with Malcolm X and the Black Power movement, and Jews, progressives, and all of these liberals, all of a sudden, expose a whole half of themselves that all of they black and brown homies is like, huh? Huh? Like, how could you reconcile this over him, but you got this position over here? We saw it so sharply in this city, y'all, that I don't even think people have done an appropriate assessment. I really don't. I really don't, because it was so shocking and it was so sudden. I don't think people have done an appropriate assessment of what happened from that time till this day, right? And so, you mean story after story after story after story, people who have been able to take a righteous position about everything, Jews who are completely pro quote land back for the Native Americans, and then you find out that they are Zionists. I'm like, oh my God. Woo, child. Woo. Woo. Okay. And so this dude was responding to this thing that was sharply impacting everybody in this community. Everybody in this community. Because see, still, there is this alignment with, there is this idea in our minds that even though we have had a historical fickle kind of relationship with the Jewish population, talking about particularly we black folks, there has typically, at least in our minds, been a more allied nature relationship. Not recognizing, and this has nothing to do about Jewish blood or Jewish Hebrew ancestry. This has to do about the nature of parasitism and the many ways, both overt and subtle, that parasitism shows its face. And so taking advantage of this thing that exists in black people to see sameness in other quote oppressed people, that historically we have been extraordinarily accepting and open to the presence of Jewish people in our spaces, in our culture, in everything, right? Despite the fact that there is a whole nother relationship that we have been guilted out of talking about principally. This whole other relationship that every time we end up in some space, because of quote the sameness of our suffering, and because we both quote oppressed people, but we do not ever face or even analyze the history that every time there have been these alignments where they are up close and personal, that we become the target of exploitation by those closest to us, by those that we have allowed in space with us. I'm specifically talking about this perpetual relationship between black people and Jewish people in the United States of America. And now every single solitary time that we have, without any kind of without establishing collectively like a code of conduct, principles of unity, those things that take the guesswork out of and the personalizing out of, this is what is going to be required in order for us to have a strategic and principled alliance in any of these spaces, whether that's artistically, whether that's politically, whether that's spiritually. These principles of unity, you feel me? This strategic alliance has to be framed by something that can make sure that we are both the beneficiaries of this relationship, and that we both have the ability to evolve as a consequence of this relationship, and that any transgression against these what the damn, man, any transgressions against these bullet points, these bullet points that are mandated and that we both have to agree on before we go into these political or spiritual or artistic alliances, that any transgression against these rules that we have established, these principles that we have established, means that all ties are cut and we don't go back to it. That's it. And that if it's a quote honest, if it's a quote, what you call like an honest quote mistake, which child, then these are the terms of what are required in order to rectify this transgression. That if you seriously want to be in space with us and you seriously did not intend for the outcome to be what it was, then this is what the rectification process looks like before we can trust that you really about that life. That has not happened. And so everybody gets betrayed, bewildered, confused, dismayed by these fucking ambiguous words that have no basis, have no solidity, require no accountability, none. Kindness becomes a weapon. Niceness becomes a weapon. Progressiveness becomes a weapon. Liberalism becomes a weapon. These things disarm you because they require nothing of the other. Nothing. They don't require anything. Just you to not be mean. That's it. Just don't be mean. Just say nice, progressive stuff about us. That even go as far as to acknowledge that, yeah, what be happening to Black people is real messed up. And that's all that's required for you to say, I stand with Black people, or I stand with brown people, or red people, or whatever. It's just to acknowledge the suffering. That's all. That's it. That's all it takes to be progressive. It's just to say out your mouth, yeah, I believe slavery happened. Yeah, I believe Black people didn't have a hard go at it. Yep, that's all that's required. Yep, or to be, quote, progressive. You feel me? And child, I can't tell you, before I did this job doing massage, outcalls and shit, I was housekeeping. Because when I first got to California, I didn't intend to live out here. You feel me? And so I was staying in my car. I was like, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't got no place to live, and I ain't got no cash stacked up. So I'm gonna sleep in my car with my tent and my sleeping bag, whatever. And so gig work out here is really easy. I just signed up online to do housekeeping, and it was the same way. Just people book you, you go do the housekeeping, you get paid, right? And so even when I was doing housekeeping, child, to go into some person's house, I'm telling you, because I'm always a scientist, I'm always a sociologist, I'm always a psychologist, I'm always a healer, I'm always a political activist, I'm always a historian. I don't give a fuck where I am. I'm always peeping everything that I see. So if, say I get a job and I drive up to a motherfucking house, you feel me? And the house is real nice. Real nice, and it's in a neighborhood that's nice, but ain't nobody else house on the block as nice as the house I done pulled up to. Without seeing anybody in the street, without seeing anybody outside their house, I can already peep game as soon as I pull up to the person's house. They a gentrifier, and this is either a Black or brown community. I can even tell when I pull up if this is a Black or if this is a brown community, and they ask without seeing their face, because you can't see the faces of the people that hire you. Without seeing their face, can pull up and know, oh, here we go. I'm going into a gentrifier house. I'm going into a gentrifier house. You feel me? So this one house, they had started hiring me pretty regularly. I was going to their house like twice a month to clean their house. This young, they were maybe about 35-ish, this young Jewish couple with a new baby, you know what I'm saying? They was, quote, nice enough. They was nice enough. You feel me? They even believed they was progressive because, again, to be progressive doesn't require anything of you. Nothing. It doesn't require anything of you. To be progressive doesn't require anything of you. Nothing. And so this young progressive couple, the first time I went into their house, right as you walk into the house, it was a massive, they had a ton of great art, right? And as soon as you walk in, there's this massive piece on the front wall, right? Huge. You're just like confronted. It was huge. And it was a graffiti piece done by a homeboy of theirs who is apparently like one of the biggest graffiti artists in New York, right? And so, of course, because I'm the negress that walks into their house to clean their house, they want to give me the whole background story of how they got this awesome piece, right? And so I'm going into this house, this enormous house that is the nicest house for blocks around. You feel me? It's the only house with a big old giant iron fence in the front. I mean, count the ways that you can say I'm a gentrifier without saying it out your mouth, I'm a gentrifier. You feel me? And so I go to start cleaning their house. The first bedroom, the master bedroom that I go into, this young Jewish progressive couple, is a massive, beautiful framed. You can tell it was like professionally framed poster. And it looked old. It looked like, something from the 60s or from the 70s. This beautiful framed poster, propaganda poster of Malcolm X in a motherfucking bedroom. Child, when I tell you, I could not roll my eyes hard enough to reconcile in your split personalities having ass self that it is not a contradiction for you to love Malcolm X speeches, you understand, love graffiti art, you feel me, all the music that you listen to is black, you feel me, and these were not, quote, there is no contradiction, I want y'all to hear me, there's no contradiction between being a person who loves Malcolm X and loves black music and listens to all black shit and this and this and this and this and loves black culture and still be a devout practitioner of Judaism. Isn't that fascinating? To be because they were a devout practitioner of Judaism. I said, isn't this fascinating? That you don't see that in Christianity. Because your Christians will tell you, you can't have both ways, nigga. You can't be out at the club on Saturday, turning up to the crunk music, and all of this shit, and still be a, quote, real Christian. You got to choose. Don't your Christianity be doing y'all like that? Don't your Christianity be doing y'all like that? Like, you can't have one foot in the pit and one foot in heaven, nigga. You got to choose. You feel me? That whole secular, that hardcore Protestant secular, you can't be listening to no secular music and call yourself Christians right now today will tell you there ain't no such an animal as no Christian hip hop. The hell? Thank you. Yes, Peter GH. You can't serve two masters. That's another one they be throwing down on you. You can't serve two masters. No. But isn't it fascinating? And I told y'all this before too. Isn't it fascinating that I told y'all that when this thing jumped off out here in California, I was like, all these people who were coming out and making these public declarations that they were Jewish, that nobody knew that they was Jewish. I was like, what? I told y'all about Debbie Gibson 3 weeks after October 4th. She did this October 7th. She did this concert right down the street from my house, and I never have to pay to get into the venue because I'm the only nigga that comes. So they was like, oh, it's our favorite Negro. Let her have a drink on the house. Let her go into the show. I don't ever pay for shit when I go to this place because they don't be seeing no Negroes ever. You feel me? So my homeboy invites me to see Debbie Gibson. I was like, okay, yeah, I could do a little nostalgia tonight. And child, we walked the hell up in there. Because, she was just a ultra teenage, lovable pop icon in the 80s. So I'm thinking, shake your love. I just can't shake your love. Shake your love. I just can't shake your love. This is what I'm thinking I'm about to walk up into. This girl, the whole stage is white. I mean, white decorations, a giant white baby grand piano, a giant, massive, light show on the back wall of this freaking massive ass white wall with a giant blue Star David. I said, the fuck did I just walk into? She finally comes out. She is donning this long, sequinty, shimmering, white dress with blue trim to sit gracefully at the baby grand piano. Like she all solemn and shit, you feel me? And all her Negro backup singers, in all white with a big giant Star of David on the chest. I said, oh, you cannot write this shit. I felt like I was being punked. I didn't even know this girl was Jewish. I didn't even know this girl was being Jewish. You feel me? It was Jewish. You feel me? And it was like that. It was like that kind of outright, like I need to stake my claim type of shit. You feel me? And so after that, after this mind-blowing thing with Debbie Gibson, I went on a wormhole. I was like, who in Hollywood is Jewish? What famous actors? What famous singers? What famous band? Who Jewish? And child, my whole mind was blown. Blown. My whole mind was blown. My whole mind was blown. Okay? My whole mind was blown. Every heavy metal band I ever loved, every punk rock band, I was like, punk rock? Wait, what? Child? I said, what in the absolute, huh? Child, my brain was blown. I'll be willing to tell you that 95% of everybody that is quote black in Hollywood, if they have any hints of anything up in it, they Jewish. Every single body, 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 every single body that is a black person in Hollywood that has like another, like a mixed race family or whatever, that partner is Jewish every time. So, because some people I knew, you know what I'm saying? Like Lisa Bonet, I knew she was half Jewish. Lenny Kravitz, I knew he was half Jewish. But Shaq, Neil Carter, yes, Shy Boy Shades. I was like, wait the what? Wait the what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Child, the list had me stupefied and sober beyond what I could even, beyond what I can even. But the reason I got up on that was because they religion don't do what Christianity do. You feel me? You don't have to, it's this or that. It's black or white. It's this or that. To get our objectives met, you can mingle amongst the Gentiles. You might even be able to marry one of them every now and again and squeeze out some babies. You can mingle amongst the Gentiles. So can. You want to be a heavy metal star, a punk rock star, you can still be a devout practitioner of Judaism. One of my favorite bands of all time, and it was like, because it was not even something that like registered in my consciousness as a kid, Jewishness. It wasn't even like something to even comprehend. I'll be honest, because I grew up in the South. Yeah, there was a lot of Jewish people in the South, but for us, the way we was raised, Jewish people were just white. They were just another type of white people. It was like they were called Jewish, like we call Christian. You feel me? Like they still white, but they just Jewish. Like this was just that's the way, that was our common understanding growing up in the South. They Jewish like we are Christian. They Jewish because they practice Judaism, and we Christian because we practice Christianity. That was it. So it was not even something that we factored in to our consciousness as a quote difference, if you will, to be pointed out. You feel like race, like racial. Oh, they black. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even like in our thought processes. And so it wasn't even until October 4th that I gave even a second thought about quote Jewishness as something other than just simply a person practicing Judaism. I'm gonna tell you, it didn't take up no space in my head until October 7th, and my personal interaction with these people through the work that I was doing. I didn't even have a motherfucking opinion either way until my personal interaction with these people after October 7th. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you something. And so, one of my favorite bands, I could easily say, because to say my favorite music or my favorite bands has always been hard for me, but one I can easily say that Jane's Addiction is one of my top 10 favorite bands. I think I told y'all when I came to California, I still have a top 3 list of bands to see before they get too old to perform or before they die. You feel me? And Jane's Addiction, Faith No More, and Metallica, right? How about I saw Jane's Addiction this past year? It was towards the end of the year. I was so hyped. I was so, and I knew by this time because California is doing what California do since October 7th. I knew then that, Perry Farrell, I think I always knew it, but again, it was not something to be drawn out as a quote difference or something. I knew Perry Farrell was Jewish, right? Because I used to say I love his little Jewish nose. You feel me? It was a non-issue in my mind up until October 7th, a non-issue. You feel me? It never even occurred to me before October 7th. Who Jewish in California? Who Jewish in Hollywood? Never even something that crossed my, and y'all know I'm deep. Wasn't even something that came across my skull as something to go into. So I go to see Jane's Addiction. I'm hype. You hear me? I'm hype. Y'all listen. For me, even make a declaration. I only got 3 bands that I want to see in my life for my life to feel fulfilled before they get too old to perform. Metallica, Jane's Addiction, and Faith No More. You feel me? In that same year, as a matter of fact, I kind of saw both because I saw Mr. Bungle, who is who Faith No More was before Faith No More was Faith No More. So I still got to see Mike Patton, who is the man. You feel me? You feel me? You can't tell me otherwise. I do not care. So I got to see Mike Patton and Mr. Bungle. A few months later, I get to go see Jane's Addiction. And when I said I couldn't find nobody to go with me, fuck it. I'm going to get cuted up, have my little cleavage jacked up to my chin, you feel me? And go see this band that I have been wanting to see, child, since the 80s. Since the 80s. And I go to this show and it was great. Oh, it was so good. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Dave Navaro. How Dave Navaro so fine? Why he so fine? Just why? Is he ever gonna age? Because poor Perry Farrell. Perry Farrell is the man. But honey, he has gotten old. Like old as in like my bones and my joints ache and I'm creaking around the stage. You know what I'm saying? Now his voice, listen, that man did that damn show. He did that damn show. He did that damn show. You feel me? He did that damn show. He had a lot of criticism. The show was great. He had a lot of criticism. He had a lot of criticism about LA. He had a lot of criticism. I guess because he don't live in LA anymore. He had a lot of criticism about how radically the culture of LA has changed and how palpable it is. And he was on the stage saying, "You motherfuckers aren't about that life, and that's why nothing creative is coming out of LA." He said, "Y'all don't understand the history of this city and how it was only awesomeness was coming out of this city when Jane's Addiction was created. Only epic excellence was coming out of LA, and it was because we were all together. All the black people, all the brown people, everybody was up in this bitch together." He said it on the stage. He said punk rock wouldn't be punk rock without the black presence in LA at the time. He said, and that's why y'all are stalemate. He said, coming into the city, I've been here a couple of days getting ready for the show. He was like, damn, what the hell happened to my city, man? What the hell happened to my city, man? I said, well, come on in the room, because I know I'm not the only weirdo experiencing this shit. You feel me? So anyway, the show was great. The show was great. He always, every time you see him, he got that little Star of David gold chain on that his daddy gave him before he passed away. I think his daddy passed away or some shit. Whatever. Dave Navarro, oh my God. He was so fine. He did the whole show in this kind of trenched coat-esque looking thing with a white frame on it that was black and nothing on under, just a black ass coat in his fucking chest. Why he so fine? That's a side note, but yo, it's like he get better. He look hotter every year he get older. Like, how you do that? Where they do that? Where they do that? Where they do that at? You feel me? Anyway, so the show goes on. The show goes on. The show goes on. Now, this is just a few months ago. This is like right at the end of this past year. And then all of a sudden, he's like, because baby, I was up in there singing every song. I'm dancing. I'm having people in this crowd like sitting. Like, who y'all came to see? Why y'all sitting down? I'm dancing. I don't care who around me. I don't care who I block, bitch. I came here to enjoy this band that I am certain is the last time I'm ever going to have the opportunity to see them. This was the first tour that they had done in many, many, many years. You feel me? And so I'm hyped. I'm singing to the top of my lungs, baby. I know all the songs. I love this band. When I talk about those bands that are, quote, defining anthems of your youth type shit, that band is one. There is nothing they did, no side project they did. There's nothing they did that I did not know intimately and well. You feel me? So anyway, he said, I'm going to do a song for y'all tonight that's new. We've never done it in public. Nobody has ever heard it until tonight. We was like, oh my God, oh my God. Everybody's screaming. And the song starts out very witchy. It's almost like it's very witchy. It's very trance-like. It's like, this silky, but like, I don't know what's the word. It was like silky, but like transic, but like dark. And even as smooth and silky as it was sharp. It was like hard as nails. And so everybody is up in there like, what the hell is this? Because it's slow and it's like, it's crazy, right? And then as the music is going and Dave Navaro is doing his thing, Perry Farrell starts talking. But you know how they'll be playing the music and you do a little intro. I want to tell you about, you know what I'm saying? La, 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 But what he is saying over the song, child, I've never heard a religious utterance come out of this man's mouth in all my years. They had a short run. They only put out 2-3 albums ever. You feel me? And so I'm talking about Jane's Addiction. And so all of a sudden he starts talking about, kind of like religious-y stuff. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but it was like something about, in the ancient times, it was prophesied to, I forget what he was saying. I should have wrote that shit down because my brain getting old. Typically, I would have remembered that shit word for word, but I remember being shook. I said, there's nobody else peeping what he is saying. I was shook. And my fucking phone died, so I couldn't record it. I was so mad. So he is like, and this and that, and all, and something about the prophecy, and this and that. And I was like, what the fuck? Never in all my days, child, have I heard this man say any religious utterance. As a matter of fact, that's his whole stilo. That's his whole MO. It's how absolutely fuck everything. Fuck the police, fuck religion, fuck all the things that are considered normal. That's always been his modus operandi. But that's not a contradiction for him to be a devout practitioner of Judaism. Isn't that funny? Anyway, so as people like vibing on this witchy kind of trance, like woo woo dee because he still ain't singing no words yet. As people are like transed out on this thing that he's doing, trying to get a feel for this new piece they done put out, all of a sudden the light show kind of like intensifies. But instead of the light show just being focused on the stage, now all of a sudden out of my peripheral vision, I'm seeing all this little extra boop, boop, shit happening all the way up the walls where we are, because it was a huge stadium where we were, all along the wall. So I turn around and check out what's going on with the light show on the wall, and it's like, it's a light show, but nobody's paying attention to it. It's like Stars of David, but they kind of morph, and then they become Star of David again, and then they morph, and they become a Star of David again. I said they trying to put a spell on. I said, are they trying to catch the fucking spell on us? Like, what they doing in here? Why they got this shit playing in our goddamn peripheral vision? Why you talking about in the ancient times there was a prophecy and this and this and this and I said, oh my God. I said, let me put my peripheral blinders on up in this. Listen, I'm laughing now, but I was undone. I was upset, y'all. I was upset. I said, I cannot believe what I am here witnessing right now. You understand? 2 weeks later, they cut the tour short, because 2 weeks later, And now, if I would not have been able to go, that would have been it, because they said never again will we do this shit. 2 weeks later, I forget where they was, but it was the following show after the show in LA, and they was doing this show. Something happens, still is a mystery, but Perry Farrell and Dave Navaro end up in an actual full-on fist fight on the stage, like where all the security got to jump the stage and pull them off of each other. And they was like, that's it. We ain't doing no more. No more shows. Tours canceled. They was just getting on the shit. They hadn't even started good. They was like, no more. Never again. We tried to do this shit. This is the second time we didn't try to do this shit. We ain't doing this shit no more. This is it. 2 weeks later. So I wouldn't have even witnessed, first of all, what I witnessed, but I recognized in the moment that I saw the damn news broadcast about the whole conflict that I would have missed my only opportunity to see this band before they are permanently like, we can't do it. We can't do it. We tried. We can't do it. You feel me? I told y'all that story because, again, it's like this thing. I got on it because of why it was supposed to be short, but why I, had made a conscious decision, especially because I worked with this organization, this company, for maybe about 1.5 years, almost 2 years, right? And around December, I was like, because even after the election, what had ebbed just a little bit with this nationalistic kind of behavior had intensified after Trump was elected. After Trump was elected, there was like a new growth spurt of the intensification of this nationalism in this very specific community, right? And I was like, I cannot do it, because I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. And I'm curious actually to see how many other Black therapists had this experience, because it was happening more often than not, because the majority, I'm telling you, 95, easily, I can say it without flinching. I'm probably being generous. 95% of the people that we're going to call, 95% of the people who, quote, use the app, even when I was doing housekeeping, same thing. 99% of the people's houses I ended up in were Jewish. Because it's an app where they can pay a highly discounted rate for what you would pay to hire a private housekeeper or massage therapist, because, they want to, quote, pay the absolute least for the services that they need. And so this app becomes a way that people can, pay the absolute bare minimum and keep their needs met very regularly. And so the people that end up on the apps, typically, like using the apps, are people of color, you feel me, primarily. The majority of the therapists that I would work with, like you can do couples massages and stuff like that. Majority of the therapists I was working with, not exclusively, but they were, I would say, marginalized communities, women and people of color, right? And so it made sense. Thank you for the donation. It made sense that the majority, the great majority of the people using these apps were Jewish. It made sense to me. You feel me? And so because the majority of the homes that I was in were Jewish, it was the majority of the homes that I was in. And I started this app literally weeks after October 7th. The only experience that I'd had was this nationalistic experience, because when I was cleaning houses, I didn't have that experience. I was still peeping game wherever I was, but the kind of what do you call it? That nasty nice, that kind of nasty nice. You feel me? Where you think you're the smartest person in the room, so you want to play in the motherfucker face because they need money. You feel me? And so that I never had that experience with Jewish people while I was doing housekeeping, because it was a different period. That was even pre-pandemic. But this thing, starting this other app, putting my hands on people, after October 7th, and 95% of the people that I'm going into their homes are Jewish, baby, there was that nasty nice. The nice was waning. It was waning. You feel me? And so I was like, am I the only one having this experience where every Jewish person I go to put my hands on, you want a service from me? You want me to put my hands on you while you playing in my face, like asking me questions? I'm sitting here like, do you ask everybody this? Do you ask the white practitioners this bullshit when they come to put their hands on you, or is it just the Negro? that you asked this shit to. I'm curious of doing a poll with other black and other non-white practitioners. Did y'all get these kind of crazy ass questions from your clients and shit? I don't know, but it was impacting me. What it was doing was it felt like I was being robbed, because now I'm forced into this situation where, quote, under the auspice of having to, quote, make a living, I have to put my hands on someone. I have to put my hands on someone who obviously doesn't give a fuck about me as a human, or they wouldn't even ask me no shit like the shit that they have been asking me. And so now this becomes a parasitic relationship. You are trying to either want to get a rise out of me while at the same time trying to leech my essence from me because I got to put my hands on. So that was the very, very long way of me saying why I had been trying to make, especially after December, after a little over a year of doing this shit. And I could literally feel it was taking a toll on me energetically. I was like, okay, I cannot put my hands on anybody anymore. And so I'm saying that this is like the kind of rough transition from full-time, like, okay, I have established something else where my brain becomes more important and what I have housed in my brain. You know what I'm saying? These interactions with us are not this is my first of all, this is my essence that I'm giving to you. You understand? But it is also the culmination of a really radical educational and intellectual lived experience, and that allows me to simplify without sounding simple, that allows me to demystify without the depth of what I'm communicating being sabotaged or something. And I can't stay on here too terribly long, because that's why I got on that whole thing, is I got to go for the first time in almost 2 months, go put my hands on somebody so I can raise this damn money to get these white people off my back, this rent shit, by Wednesday. So I got to leave my house. As a matter of fact, I probably only got about 45 minutes. I ain't even gonna push it that hard. I'm gonna be up off here at 5:30 because I have to get with them at 6. But I will do another live tonight. And so anyway, all of that to say, housekeeping. If you want to make donations to the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, you can do that in a multiplicity of ways. If you want to support the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, you can do that in a multiplicity of ways. For donations and contributions, you can do that by using the Temple's email, which is EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. You can use that email to contribute via Zelle or via PayPal. Be sure to send it as a donation, where I am not absorbing the fees, especially if it's PayPal. PayPal be with that bullshit, okay? And I'm coming off of it. Just so you know, I'm coming off PayPal. I made the commitment to come off PayPal this week. If you want to use Cashapp, you can do $ DaughterOfTheFates, FATES. Cashapp is $ DaughterOfTheFates. Venmo is my name, Cassandra, Cassandra-Floyd, FLOYD. Those are the 4 ways that you can just make donations and contributions. If you want to book a session, if you want to book a divination, or if you want to book a 5 elements consult, I am not offering write-ups anymore. Within the context of our time together on this screen, I will give you your diagnosis and I will give you quick to start recommendations based on your condition. But this long, tedious process of me spending hours, literally hours afterwards, trying to do write-ups for people, I'm not doing that anymore. So if you want to get a consultation, a 5 elements consultation, where I go through your whole life story, child, from pre-birth until where you sitting at the time that we on the Zoom, and then spend the last 10 minutes of me assessing, giving you a diagnosis based on Chinese medicine, and boom, these are the herbs that you're going to be on. This is an immediate dietary change you're going to need to make, whether that's going to be a temporary dietary change or whether it has to be something that goes on a little longer, 6 months or more. Then cool. that is the way that I will do 5 elements consultations from now on. Those of you who I still owe write-ups to, I am working on them, I promise. But I have to get past this little quandary that I am currently and urgently facing through Wednesday, and then I will resume working on your write-ups, and I will send them out to you before the following week. I will spend the weekend sending them out. I've been sending out write-ups literally every other day since last week. That's how backlogged I am. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is the Etsy store. Now, I just found out something that's got me a little bit upset and shit. And I'm going to have to make a resolution with it. But that's the transition that we're in. Like, how uncomfortable in the short term are you willing to be to make the demonstrations that you really about this future that you are trying to create? So my Etsy store for right now, I'm not going to do away with it until after this quandary that I am trying to resolve in real time is resolved. But I'm going to have to shut down my Etsy page. Like, I can't reconcile it. I sat with it for several hours last night, but I'm not going to be able to reconcile it. So anyway, for right now, up until Thursday, you can go to my Etsy store, and which is DaughterOfTheFates.etsy.com. DaughterOfTheFates.etsy.com. As a matter of fact, those of you who are tuning in via IG, I don't know why I have two IG pages, but this one, which I can't follow people back, the other one I can't follow people back, which is why I decided to stream live on here, but it does not get anywhere near the traffic that my other one does. So I'm going to X out of this one, and I'm going to log back in on my other IG page, my Daughter of the Fate IG. So y'all can just come back. Y'all can come back here when I relog on. Okay, peace. So while I'm waiting on that to load, let's see. So EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. I'm typing that. That's the email address for the temple. So that's in the comments. And then, all right. And I don't know, while I'm doing this, I don't know if you guys saw, but there is a young person on IG who posted themselves doing the conspiracy to right all wrongs on their IG and TikTok day before yesterday. And it gave me life. And I'm like, yes, everybody do that. He just did a short video and actually posted it. And then, sent people to my page so that they can get the link to get to receive the conspiracy. And I was like, yes, we should be doing that in mass, not just talking to each other. Y'all not just logging in to watch me do the conspiracy. We need to be spreading this shit far and wide because it's making a difference. I am telling you, it is making a difference that I'm getting emails every single day. And the majority of the emails that I'm getting are not from this country. This is the tidal wave that I'm talking about. This is the impact that I'm talking about. But now we need everybody to make a commitment through their own social medias to do the same thing this young man did. And it was powerful to me for a number of reasons. And I'll be honest, it was powerful to me. It was powerful for me because this young male person took it upon himself to do this. And it's something that I am always confronted with. Even people, males, who unite with the line of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, who feel it deep, but there is this default way that they fall into this kind of it's not intentional. So this is not a critique of males. It is an observation of not only the overt ways that internalized patriarchy shows up, but also the extraordinarily subtle ways that internalized patriarchy shows up. That way being that in order to, quote, be in a space with women, unite with the leadership of women, believe, quote, in feminism or any of these things where males want to do the right thing in their conscious mind, but their default behavior is a presentation that women haven't really taken a lot of time to even assess or analyze in a way that didn't seem antagonistic towards maleness in general. You feel me? And so, and I've talked about this several times, so I'm not going to go into a deep diatribe about it, but this thing that I had been really experiencing and trying to figure out why I was experiencing this weird. As a matter of fact, I need to find it, because in that book that I read on this channel, Communion: The Female Search for Love, Bell Hooks talks about it. She talks about it in one of the chapters. I don't remember the name of the chapter. I'm gonna have to find it, because it's something that is becoming more and more and more obvious, and nobody is communicating it in a way that is not antagonistic. Like, these are the ways that this shit shows up, and that gives us the ability to really assess how to move in correct space with one another. So I'm always saying that this is the period for the mother to lead. The way that she is choosing to lead is directly through her daughters, but not exclusively. And the other thing is, whenever we talk about female leadership, the leadership of the mothers, we are always talking about from the center, not from the top, from the center. Always a spiral, always from the center, right? And that leadership by females, right? Everybody included in the process, everybody having a specific and strategic and valuable role within the process. Even this concept of, quote, matriarchy, quote, the return of the matriarchy. I've been sitting with that for some time, because I don't think that is going to be the articulation that I resonate the most with. I'm not talking about archies. I'm talking about leading from the center. I'm talking about a reunion of the one. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a reunion of the one, the many that exist within the one, the many that exist within the one, in a union of selfness, in a union of self, not on some cult, like we all got to dress the same way. We all got to look the same way. We all got to dress the same, have the weird same colors. None of that weird ass shit. None of that weird ass shit, yo. That our uniqueness, not individuality, our uniqueness within the one is needed. It's necessary. Our uniqueness. It teaches us humanity. It reteaches what it means to live within the embrace of the mother, not on some, matriarchy and the way you perceive matriarchy, which is in direct contest with, quote, patriarchy. And so whatever patriarchy did, we got to be nervous, because if women have power, they gonna do it, in a female body or in a female face. That's your patriarchy, boo. That ain't got nothing to do with us. That ain't got nothing to do with any expression I've ever heard some woman make. That ain't got nothing to do with us. The things that are required in this moment to reharmonize the one, and I don't hesitate saying, because of the magnitude of the malignancy of the son gone rogue, because of the magnitude of the malignancy of the son gone rogue. And I will tell you, just like mommy and I are one, and this is what we're trying to return to, you also have to sit with the uncomfortable idea, the uncomfortable fact that for the greater part of 6,000 years, that lesson of mommy and I are one and we all exist within the one, that shit too has been inverted, so that for the last 6,000 years, daddy and I are one. And that is a malignancy. I'm just telling you, I'm not talking about your personal father child. I am talking about the patriarch that was given birth to by the son in his separation from the mother. And that just like we recognize that the mother is the answer, that the healing, the reunion of the one within the mother, it is not a contradiction. even to say that the mother is all beings. The mother is all beings. So that's why she was always called the great grand androgyne. That your existence as male, your existence as one who identifies with men, right, still exists within the creative force. That there was never a contradiction of being called she. Never. Even your opposition, even your opposition to the divine one being called mother is your patriarchal response in immediate hatred of the divinity of the great primordial she, the bearded lady. That why she was called a bearded lady, because she was the expression of the great androgyne that exists in every single one of us, no matter what our dominant sexual hormone is. That's why males be mad at women. And so the first thing, because you attracted to the woman, you don't have the language to articulate that what you are attracted in, what you are attracted to in this woman is power personified. But as soon as that power starts to show itself in the reason males that you are attracted to, quote, strong women, powerful women, even beautiful women, is because under the great patriarch, you are a malignant version of a homosexual. Not that homosexuality is malignant. Your homosexuality, even if you think you straight, you are attracted to certain types of women because you are attracted to power personified. And the malignancy in your mind tells you that the reason you are attracted to this woman is because of, it's like you are attracted to the power that you see in her, right? But this is when your brain starts to go to war with itself, because your brain tells you, wait a minute, only men can have power. So wait a minute. Right? And so you begin to find ways in this war in your head to subdue power. That's why this whole conversation we had a couple of weeks ago about Lauryn Hill and about Nina Simone and about Tina Turner and about Josephine Baker and about Eartha Kitt and about every single woman you can imagine, these powerful giants of women. And the men may have been attracted to them, but still having a great white patriarch take up the space of the throne in their consciousness, they immediately have a problem with the presentation of power in women in general and Black women in particular, because the white male patriarch in their skull is going to war with this attraction. She can't have power. She Black and female. Oh no, you got to subdue that. You got to check that. Oh, you got to pursue like a predator this powerful woman, like what Nina Simone's husband said about her. He said, I sought her out. I got a whole list of dates of where she would be playing around the country and would book airline tickets just to go see her play in these countries. And she a dark-skinned woman, and she a nappy-head woman in an industry that reviled her because everybody else, Black and female, has combed their hair and had smooth hair and was light-skinned and shit. You feel me? And so even though she was a genius, she wasn't getting no love. She ain't had no boo. And we all want a boo. We all want to feel seen. We all want to feel loved. We all want to be rubbed on. We all want to make love. We want love made to us. You feel me? And she didn't have that. She didn't have it. And so this light-skinned, slick-talking, conk-haired nigga said it out his mouth in the movie. What's wrong, Miss Nina? That's the name of the documentary. What's wrong, Miss Nina? Right? He said it in the documentary. I pursued her. And within 4 months, 6 months, something like that, she had turned over her entire business to him to be her manager. And then he set the stage to rob her of power. What's power? Confidence. What's power? Skills. What's power? Gifts. What's power? A voice. What's power? Presence. What's power? Others acknowledging that genius. He had an attitude. She said that he would not allow her to take time to talk to fans after the show and sign autographs. He hated her, and he hated more that people loved her. He sought her out. He didn't stage a contest with the patriarch taking up all the space in his skull. The patriarch in his skull said, wherever you see power personified in a body that is black and female, you must go to war. You must go to war. You must go to war. What does war look like? Well, one born male, one born with a penis. The primary weapon, your body being mechanized into a weapon by the ideas in your brain, by the religions of your childhood, tell you that the first weapon that you have is your penis. It's not my imagination. It's not even something that we have to theorize about. All the language of so-called sex and love making is language of conquest. Mary, what's her name? Barbara Moore talks about it in The Great Cosmic Mother. She talks about that at the extent to and the advent of patriarchy becoming concretized in the heads of males, that concretization made them approach women's bodies the same way they approach enemies. Even in their mind, they heart shit. They like, damn, I like this bitch. She fine. She nice to me. At some junction, and he will go above and beyond, baby. He will go beyond and above. You'll find that Negro, and I say Negro, anybody with a Y chromosome. You feel me? You'll find him, and he will slick talk you. He'll open all the doors. He knows exactly how to behave to ensure that the outcome benefits him. He ain't got no problem opening no damn doors. So now you see this crisis about people talking about you bitches want too much. They in a crisis because they know exactly how to behave when it is something that they know that behavior is going to yield the outcome that they want. What's the outcome that they want? Booty. What's the outcome that they want? And I'm talking about booty like the pirates used to talk about. Loot was the booty. They called the trunk of gold the booty. You feel me? That's what the pirates said, is that a trunk of gold was booty. You feel me? They wanted it all. Somebody say your money, that's the booty. They wanted your ass, that's the booty. Whatever it is, they want to live in your house. What y'all call them now, homosexuals, booty. And he knows that there is a ritual. There's a mating ritual that he must do. He must perform. This mating ritual established by the patriarchy that he must perform. And we have accepted, as women, we have accepted the mating ritual created and chiseled out for us by patriarchy. So these are our expectations too. Nigga, open the door for me. Not because you respect me and you adore the magic that I am in this flesh. Because if you opening the door on that shit, I'm like, damn, it feels different. If you pulling out my chair because you like, damn, this is like God walking right here. That's different. But he ain't doing that. He's opening the door because he is performing a ritual that he must perform to ensure definitively that what he is working for will gain him what he is after. This is no different than a military strategy executed by a general to say, okay, we either have to be overt in our aggression, or we need to be more strategic and subtle in our aggression. But at the end of it, y'all been courting. You understand? 3 months. Y'all been courting 3 months. Hey, y'all been going on dates. Y'all been having long talks, going on long walks. You like, damn, this is the most romantic motherfucker I ever met. We even say romantic. The evidence that he give a damn about you is how romantic he is, not recognizing that even hidden in the language, romanticism is about conquest and nothing else. We even say it, oh my God, even so romantic. Not recognizing that the language itself, hidden within the language itself, are the intentions. The more romantic, as long as a patriarch sits in your skull, the more romantic, the deeper the desire in the mission of conquest. And so you be confused because this motherfucker spent all the time, said and did all the right things. You ain't catch a single red flag. He said, y'all like the same movies. He actually read books. You are dismayed and bewildered. That's why I be telling y'all that my desire, the thing that has always had me fucked up in adult relationships, is because I love genius in a man. I love a brain. I love a man who is brilliant in whatever his brilliance is. You feel me? So he may not be able to rock with me on political education, but as an artist, as a musician, as a whatever his bag is, he executes that shit with extraordinary precision and heart. And I feel and I love genius. And it's always been my downfall. And I never understood why. Is because as long as a patriarch sits in your skull, bitch, whatever gift you have becomes a weapon. Whatever gift you have is a weapon until you go to war with the patriarch in your head. It is inevitable, and it is why we are always asking the question, how could this happen to me again? He did all the right things. There were no red flags, right? I'm just trying to tell you, man. Y'all are killing me in this comment. I'm trying not to get distracted because I got to be up off of here in a half a second. Y'all be killing me in these comment sections. I see y'all though. But I'm trying to give y'all a word. As long as the patriarch, and I'll flip the script too. Because women don't, I take a certain approach with females because our circumstances are more nuanced. Our circumstances are more nuanced in our relationship with the patriarch that too sits in our head. We be trying to absolve ourselves. We be trying to make excuses for ourselves about our bad behavior without ever going to war with the patriarch in our fucking skulls. We be doing that. So you do all the work, but the necessary work. You do all the things, but the necessary things. You feel me? You go into your quote spiritual work with the make-believe in your head that you are the perpetual blameless victims and that the only villains on earth were born with penises. You do that. You do that. You do that. You do that. And because this is your leading narrative, that as a female in a patriarchal world, that you are, quote, blameless. And this, to me, is not this the word that we use, but you are blameless, right? That there is nothing for which you can be held accountable for, you feel me? Because I'm female in the world, because I'm black and female in the world, because I'm marginalized and female in the world. We step out leading, even as we're talking about seizing power. Even as we're talking about seizing power, we lead in the world from a place of our victimhood. We do that. We do that. We do that. And without ever having the language that helps us to reconcile how there's, remember about, Bernie, what's his name? Biden was still in office. So maybe two years ago. What's her name? Anyway, and Biden had not her. No, this girl's like, she was on Issa Rae's show. What's the show she did? She was the bougie girl from the sorority that was Issa Rae's friend that had the blonde wig on. And so that sister. Anyway, I see. That's why I'm speed talking. And so anyway, she's sitting in her closet crying. Amanda Seals, thank you so much. She was sitting in her closet crying because of some declaration that AOC and Biden had just made. Like, it was shocking. Is there nobody? Is there just nobody that we can count on to do the right thing? Because I think it was like they refused to say that what was happening in Gaza was a genocide. They refused. And so she was like, damn, just nobody up in positions of power gonna do right. The answer is no, nobody in a position of power is gonna do right. And at the juncture that you can accept that, you become emboldened. You feel me? And so anyway, she's sitting in the closet. That day, I did a live and I called it The Role We Play in Our Own Betrayal. Go back and watch that. The role we play in our own betrayal. That is the harder discussion. Because it's easy for us as the perpetual. I know, I see, I'm watching my clock. I'm skirting on thin ice, but I'm good. It's easy for us. We may not even be aware or conscious of it. That does not make light of the suffering that we have a right to articulate that is peculiar to us. But there is a way to acknowledge what is without leading or presenting in the world from a state of victimhood. You understand? There is a way, there is a difference. There is a difference between saying, I deserve X, Y, and Z, and you are in a harmonious relationship that is guided by the embrace of the mother, and I deserve because I am a victim. That's a different energy. Nobody even is having a discussion of, thank you, T, my aunt. We are who we have been waiting for. Thank you. There is an energy. I don't know how many ways I'm going to tell y'all this. Everything, every word, every action is partnered with an energy that we radiate out, that everybody else is responding to. And we accept it from every other animal in the animal kingdom but us. We know exactly what pheromones and hormones the predator is responding to when he is in pursuit of his prey but us. And so we lead, we make these declarations, not even recognizing that the patriarch in our head he too having split personalities disorders. Because what do we say? Jesus and God are the same. They say it themselves, right? Jesus and God is the same. God is the dark side. Jesus is the light side. He is both victim and aggressor. Victim and aggressor in one. God and Jesus. This twin energy shit that we have been talking about all these months, and the myriad of ways that it shows up, just as Uranus has entered into Gemini for the next until 2033. That was what it was for. Was a preparation to let you see the two-sidedness, to see the two-facedness of all of the shit that only unfolds within the context of a world dominated and structured to benefit patriarchy. And it is not until you go to war with the patriarch in your skull every single solitary day and allow your family within the embrace of the mother to check you, to challenge you, to hold you accountable when that patriarch is showing his ass in real time. We don't want to be held accountable, women. And so even accountability is not this patriarchal understanding of what it means to be held accountable. You feel me? So this thing that happened day 4 yesterday when I got on this live and this woman was up on my shit with that bullshit, you feel me? I'm like, look, trying to be diplomatic because I wasn't even mad. It's like, look, I get what you're saying. I accept what you are saying. If you have something that can steer us in a different direction, put that shit in the comment section and then email me so that we can have a conversation about it, because you may be able to win something within me that I wasn't up on game. I know a lot, but I do not know everything. I'm the perpetual student and I show y'all that shit in real time, right? And so, baby, let me tell you something. This thing that I'm experiencing, particularly in my growing relationship with males, we have to build the temple. And I say the temple, but I'm telling you, even if we never have a building, which is not going to happen, we're going to have a building. And from my mouth to the goddess's ear, I know, I feel in me that we will have the space that we need within the year. Within a year today, we will have what we need. But we have to spread this shit far and wide, because I have been up in here for 2 days in a wormhole. Yes, tripping about my rent situation because it's a distraction I didn't need. You feel me? But still trying to be ever present because she is showing me shit every single minute of the day. I'm like, damn, Ma, I cannot do this shit right now. I got some jewelry orders to fill. I got some shit to do. I got a reading to do. I got some places. I got some money to make. And you like sit for 2 minutes and write the shit down so you don't forget it, because I'm telling you, I am trying to peel back every layer so that this work is no longer laborious for anyone, no one on earth. So while I say the temple of evolutionary emergence, I'm telling you, this is not a religion that we are building. It is not. It is the radical new that we have all been longing for and continue to fail to articulate in a way that makes sense to everyone, to someone with a third grade education or someone who is goddamn Alzheimer's can be like, damn, what she's saying sound great. That makes sense. Why this shit always been so complicated? Why this shit always been so hard? Because it has been made so. It has been made so. It has been deliberately complicated, deliberately mystified, deliberately just out of reach. This question that I have been hearing so much over the last 2 weeks, how can a loving God let the world go on the way that it is? How can this be? Why? I don't understand the deeper meaning. I know that everything that passed before God's eyes, he puts his seal of approval on. We just can't understand the mind of God. And this and this and this and this and this and this. This is a spell that's been cast on you to always, no matter how terrible the world gets, keep you from questioning power. You are subdued from questioning power. Not only questioning power, facing power with dual and equal force. Dual, opposing, equal force. You perpetually, because you are really expecting, even in the language of the goddess, I hear it a lot. Even in the language of the goddess, you are expecting a mythical, magical entity from somewhere to swoop down in a gust of light and save you. And the mother at this moment is screaming to the top of her lungs, I am already here. God damn it. Like, how many ways do I have to tell you? How many ways do I have to show you? There is no great mystery in this shit. The reason the world exists the way that it does is because it was constructed to exist the way that it is. There is no way to make sense out of this shit. There is no way to, quote, reason away why suffering has to happen. Karma is not the reason. Karmic debts is not the reason the world looks the way that it does. Those are politically strategic words weaponized to justify what cannot be justified, to pacify you into a stupor so that you do not recognize that in the moment, even with your flaws, even with your contradictions, even with your motherfucking late ass rent that you got to pay, you are God personified in all the power and potential and possibilities that she allowed you to be born with. And that it is your responsibility to stage a contest all the time. Every time you open your mouth, you are supposed to be staging a contest. Whether you're a singer, your songs are supposed to be staging a contest. Your songs are supposed to be institutions of dual and contending power. Every time you open your mouth. You understand me? Even if it's language of love when you're talking to your children, that language of love that you speak to your loved ones is supposed to be an institution of dual and contending power. What do I mean? The language that we use to talk to a lover, the language that we use to talk to a friend, the language that we use to talk to our children, the language that we use to talk to our parents is still guided by a worldview based on that crooked, malignant motherfucker resting comfortably in your skull. He has taken such deep root, like the malignant, attached, unexcisable tumor. He is comfortable in his position on the throne. And so every time you open your mouth, your expressions of love are harmful, and you can't understand why. I spank your ass because I love you. I punish you because I love you. You understand? Like, look, boo, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't hit you if you were just act right. And his Jesus justifies this explanation to her. And the patriarch in her skull that tells her, because he too, the patriarch, has dual personifications. God is the dark side. Jesus is the light side. Jesus was the light side because he had to mimic the mother as close proximity as possible. Jesus had to be effeminate. The reason he always shone with long hair and passive and the masochist and the martyr is because he had to subdue you bitches, while his dark side, the punisher, the forever mad, the vengeful, the warmonger, could talk to the males, the Y chromosome possessing fuckers, to actively engage them in perpetual and permanent warfare against the God, always trying to make herself known in both the female and the male and all the genders in between. She is always trying to, she is always trying to stage a contest, bitch. It is the effectiveness of the patriarch resting comfortably in your skull that will determine if your giant, that I'm always talking about, your little baby giant, that's your mother, your baby giant. And who is your mother? She is the divine personification of harmonious union between the divine feminine and the sacred masculine. That's who she is. She is the grand androgyne sitting in your heart, held captive by everything you use your tongue to communicate. Every time you open your mouth and a patriarch comes out, you are deepening the imprisonment of your grand giant. Every time you open your mouth. Why? Because the tongue can only communicate. The tongue guided by the brain, because the tongue we have been beheaded. Oh, fuck. Oh my God. Oh my God. We have been spiritually beheaded. So the heart that used to govern what comes out of the mouth, the heart can't do that no more, because why? Because when you beheaded, you are literally cutting the head off between the throat chakra and the heart chakra. So now the only thing that you can communicate, damn, I wish I didn't have to go. The only thing that you can communicate are the aspirations, ambitions, goals, objectives, mutant ass expressions of love of the great grand patriarch in your skull. And I believe this is a damn metaphor for why them knights had to be sired. Because I have to sever your relationship to your mother. How do I do that? I have to sever the destiny that she gave you by bleeding on your head. That's why I have to decapitate you as a knight. Before you can be a knight in service of the king, your mother's blood oath, child, your mother's baptism in holy water that ordained your destiny, the true holy water, the true holy blood, the true first sacrament. I have to completely rid you of your birth destiny in order to impose mine on your skull. And now you raise up anew after I have metaphorically decapitated you, and I thus crown you knight so-and-so, this and that and this and that. You have to be beheaded. We have all been beheaded. We have all been beheaded. Now the struggle is how to, like, what's her name? Mary Shelley. Now we have to take the head and try to put that shit back on and reanimate us. You feel? We have to reanimate us in a harmonious union with the mother. Maybe that's what the lightning bolt that gave life to Frankenstein was, because, oh my God! Woo! Maybe that's what it was. Because I told you, Mary Shelley was 18 years old, number 9, when she wrote the book. She wrote the book in 99. 3 nines. That's when she wrote the book. 18 years old, had to write it under a male pseudonym because she knew nobody wouldn't read it. The very first sci-fi, her book was considered the very first sci-fi. So she write a book about taking all these body parts and, Dr. Frankenstein expecting that this thing was going to be a monster because it came to life. And then lo and behold, given life to by lightning. It was lightning that animated him. It was the mother that animated him. And lo and behold, he wasn't just a mindless brute slave zombie. He was intelligent. He not only was intelligent, he was not a male malignant version of intelligence like his Dr. Frankenstein, like his fucking father. Nope. He had heart. He felt deeply. He was wounded deeply by society's rejection of his oddity, so much so that they could not see his spirit. They could not see his heart. They could not see his mind. Ooh, child, this word. Now I got to go and rub on this dude behind. You feel me? I'm going to come back tonight. Peace. Make your contributions, make your donations, book your readings, book your divination, book your 5-element consultation. Go on to DaughterOfTheFates.etsy.com or just go to Etsy.com and put Daughter of the Fates in the search engine. I have just dumped a ton of new pieces up on there. Get your piece as soon as you can, because I'm really going to have to figure out how to transition out of Etsy, because they done dug their heels in. Apparently there's a boycott of Etsy, calling on all creators to come up off of there, and all people who buy from there to come up off of there, because they are allowing a multiplicity of, quote, vendors on there to sell alligator Auschwitz. Is that what they call it? Alligator Auschwitz merchandise. And so people was like, And when people were sending letters say this is not cool according to your own community guidelines and standards, like how can this be okay? As a matter of fact, I used to sell a bracelet that was pictures of Che Guevara and Fidel Castro in my unknowing, child. This was another day. But when I first started selling these bracelets that have Fidel Castro and Che Guevara on it, honey, not only did they snatch that shit up off of there, they started asking me a whole bunch of questions. Are you from Cuba? Did you get these products from Cuba? Even though it say right in the shit, I made the shit to order. You feel me? Not only that, the reason it got reported in the first place was a whole bunch of Jewish Cubans, of gusanos, Jewish Cubans was all up in my message board going off. You so stupid. You don't even know the history of Fidel Castro. How could you be doing long ass dissertations in their hatred of the Cuban Revolution, of Fidel Castro, of Che Guevara, whatever. You feel me? And it was malignant for a while. I was just like blocking, but I knew that's why that shit got snatched the fuck up off of there. So even something as simple as just headshots of dudes on a bracelet, and they yanked when I posted the picture, they wasn't up on there 24 hours. Yank that shit up off of there. But you gonna let people sell it's got Auschwitz on the shit. Y'all ain't gonna get rid of it though. So I was like, no, that's all I need to know, man. Like I just had a long conversation with y'all the other day about, you know what I'm saying, being mindful and deliberate of where we give our energy, where we spend our money, because it's the primary weapon that we have. It's the primary tool, instrument, and my lips are dry as hell. It's the primary weapon and tool and instrument that we have, and it has always been working against us based on how we spend our money. And so once we find out some shit, we have to make a decision. Are we going to continue to give money to this shit that in our spirit we are absolutely opposed to? So I got to figure out over the next few days, first of all, what other merchandise sites that I can do. Like, is there any controversy about Shopify? Blah, 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 blah. So I can figure out how to make this smooth transition. So I'll give y'all until Sunday. And then next week, I'm going to have to deactivate my Etsy store. Okay. So in the meantime, because I need this money, this is urgent. It is pressing. I know I'm making light of it, but it is not light. I have until Wednesday. Okay. To rectify, and actually that's Wednesday morning. So literally late night Tuesday, to rectify the shit in a way that at least it keeps them off my back for a spell. You feel me? So book your divination, book your and the economy has changed so much in the city since this bullshit started happening with ICE. It's like palpable. Everybody is complaining about it because it's having a radical, sharp trickle down effect that was already pre-impacted by the fires and the extraordinary shock to the economy in the system. So I'm not the only one experiencing what I'm experiencing. This is becoming more and more a common narrative as opposed to an oddity. Okay. So anyway, I got to go now. It's crunch time. I'm going to come back later. I'll go ahead and say I will be back up on here at 10. Okay. Peace. Let's see, in stream, and